What makes people spend thousands of dollars or wait in lines for hours just to get their hands on a small fluffy monster called Labubu? If you're like me and don't live on social media, you might be completely puzzled by this phenomenon. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery behind one of 2024's most unexpected viral sensations. Meet Labubu, a small, tooth-bearing, elf-like creature that has somehow managed to captivate millions worldwide. These aren't just toys anymore. They've become status symbols, fashion accessories, and for some, serious investments. But before we understand the craze, let's uncover where this peculiar character actually came from. The story begins with Casing Long, a Hong Kong-born artist who moved to the Netherlands as a child. Born in 1972, Long grew up immersed in Nordic folklore and mythology. Without the digital distractions we have today, he turned to storytelling and sketching. Over a decade ago, he created a character that would eventually take the world by storm. Labubu emerged from long story series called The Monsters, inspired by the Nordic tales he loved as a child. The character represents magical creatures, both good and evil, embodying the kind of mysterious, playful world that captures both children's and adults' imaginations. But for years, Labubu remained just another illustration in an artist's portfolio. Everything changed in 2019 when Chinese toy maker Pop Mart signed an exclusive licensing agreement with Casing Long. Pop Mart specializes in something called blind box collectibles, a concept that would prove crucial to Labubu's success. But what exactly is a blind box, and why does it matter? A blind box is essentially gambling for toys. You pay your money, typically $20 to $30, but you don't know which specific variant you'll get until you open it. There might be 12 different designs in a series, with some being rarer than others. This creates the same psychological rush as opening a pack of trading cards or spinning a slot machine. Pop Mart's genius was understanding human psychology, the uncertainty, the hope of getting a rare variant, the desire to complete a collection. It taps into the same impulses that have made loot boxes in video games so controversial, but unlike digital items, these are physical objects you can hold, display, and trade. Soon, other celebrities followed suit. Rihanna, Dua Lipa, and countless influencers began sporting these tiny monsters on their designer bags. What started as a toy for collectors suddenly became a fashion statement. The message was clear. If you wanted to be part of the trend, you needed a Labubu. Social media amplified the craze exponentially. The hashtag Labubu on TikTok now has over 1.2 million posts. Users showcase their collections, their rare finds, and their attempts to get limited editions. Each post feeds the algorithm, reaching more potential collectors and creating an endless cycle of desire. The trend evolved beyond just collecting. People began dressing up as Labubu characters, creating fan art, and treating these toys like beloved pets. The community aspect became as important as the collecting itself. Suddenly, owning a Labubu wasn't just about having a toy, it was about belonging to something bigger. The numbers tell an incredible story. In 2024, Pop Mart's The Monsters blind box series featuring Labubu generated over $419 million in revenue, a staggering 7.6% year-over-year growth. To put that in perspective, that's more than many major movie franchises earn in a single year. But here's where it gets interesting or concerning depending on your perspective. Limited edition Labubus that retail for $30 regularly sell for hundreds or even thousands on the secondary market. Some rare variants have sold for over $2,000. We're talking about small plastic toys achieving the same price points as luxury handbags. This isn't the first time we've seen a collectible craze reach these heights. Remember Beanie Babies in the 1990s? Or Pokemon cards during the pandemic? The pattern is always similar. Artificial scarcity meets social media buzz, creating a perfect storm of demand. But there's something unique about the Labubu phenomenon. Unlike previous collectible crazes, Labubu successfully bridged the gap between toy collecting and high fashion. It's now common to see a $20 Labubu charm attached to a $20,000 Hermes Birkin bag. This crossover appeal expanded the market beyond traditional toy collectors to include fashion enthusiasts and luxury consumers. But why do people collect these specific creatures? Psychologists point to several factors. First, there's the cute aggression phenomenon. Those big teeth and small size trigger both protective and aggressive impulses. Second, the blind box format creates intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological principle that makes slot machines addictive. There's also the social signaling aspect. In our image-driven culture, what you own communicates who you are. A Labubu on your bag signals that you're trendy, connected, and part an exclusive community. It's a form of social currency that's particularly powerful among younger generations. The global expansion has been remarkable. Pop Mart now operates stores across Asia, Europe, and North America. Lines form outside new store openings, with some people camping overnight for limited releases. It's reminiscent of the early days of Apple product launches, but for toys. Not everyone has embraced the Labubu craze. Some countries have raised concerns about the character's appearance, with authorities in certain regions seizing thousands of dolls due to their demonic appearance. Ironically, this controversy has only added to their mystique and desirability in other markets. Interestingly, in Thailand, many people believe Labubu images can bring wealth and good fortune. This belief has transformed a simple toy into something approaching a spiritual talisman. It's fascinating how the same object can represent different things across cultures. A fashion accessory in one country, a lucky charm in another. The supply and demand imbalance continues to fuel the frenzy. New releases sell out within minutes online, forcing collectors to either wait for restocks or pay premium prices on the secondary market. Pop Mart has mastered the art of creating artificial scarcity, releasing limited quantities to maintain the perception of exclusivity. For serious collectors, Labubu hunting has become a full-time hobby. They track release schedules, follow insider accounts for restock alerts, and trade duplicates with other collectors. Some have invested thousands of dollars, treating their collections like stock portfolios. The question is, are they investors or gamblers? Here's something to consider. If you've spent $1,000 on Labubu collectibles, that same money could have been invested in index funds, which historically return about 7% annually. Over 10 years, that $1,000 could become nearly $2,000 through compound interest. But try explaining that to someone holding a rare Labubu worth 5 times its original price. History suggests that most collectible crazes eventually cool down. The Beanie Baby bubble burst when people realized their investments weren't appreciating as expected. Baseball cards, once considered surefire investments, saw their market collapse in the 1990s. The question isn't if the Labubu craze will end, but when. However, there's something different about today's collectible market. Social media provides constant reinforcement. Global communities share the passion, and instant gratification culture makes waiting for trends to develop impossible. Maybe this time really is different, or maybe we're just better at convincing ourselves it is. Many collectors acknowledge that Labubu is likely a passing trend, but they argue there is still joy in the collecting experience. As one collector put it, the appeal is mainly that they're viral on TikTok and nobody wants to feel left out from a trend. There's an honesty in that admission that's almost refreshing. Meanwhile, creator Kasin Lang continues developing new characters and stories. He's gone from a relatively unknown illustrator to the mastermind behind a global phenomenon. His success demonstrates how the right character, paired with smart marketing and perfect timing, can create cultural lightning in a bottle. Pop Mart shows no signs of slowing down, regularly releasing new Labubu series and variants. They've mastered the formula: limited quantities, unpredictable releases, and constant social media buzz. As long as people keep buying, they'll keep producing. So what's the verdict on the Labubu phenomenon? If you're collecting purely for joy and can afford the expense, there's nothing wrong with participating in a cultural moment. But if you're treating $20 toys as serious investments, you might want to reconsider your financial strategy. The Labubu craze reveals something fascinating about modern consumer culture. Our desire for community, our need for status symbols, and our willingness to pay premium prices for artificial scarcity. Whether you see it as harmless fun or concerning speculation probably depends on how much money you've already spent. A simple like to this video will allow others to benefit from this. Comment below if you'd like us to cover other topics. See you soon. I am Olivia, and this is HypeScope.